Sister Brown.
Well, one of the things you talk about internal versus other things. Internal suggests that you want to talk about what we need to do or our vision of education or how we express that. And one of the things that I think we've forgotten is that there was a Supreme Court decision in '54, Brown versus Board of Education. And then we have forgotten people like little R3 and Lucy and little Ruby Bridges and all these little children that we sent to try to get an education because we thought it would be better to desegregate the schools and educate our children in schools of white children. And black people fought and died and shed a lot of blood just to enforce Brown, and the schools in this country have been resegregated. And the significance of that is that there's no money in the black schools, but there's plenty of money in some of the other schools. Now that's what the significance, because the question of integration is really not a question. It's not one I want to talk about anyway. So the issue is that we do want to be educated because there's this notion that black people don't really want to go to school. When we are the ones who fought like dogs to get an education, and using the Brown example. So we have to remember that about ourselves, that we have fought to go to school. Our schools, you closed 5 schools in Oakland. Was it 5 schools that were closed here? And I talked to a friend of mine, I said, well, how much would it take to reopen those schools? And I was told $2 million. So now let's look at the external question. I was involved with the Occupy people here, and a lot of people said, oh, these were a bunch of white kids running around, but I didn't see no black people getting mad about nothing, so I went with whoever was mad about what was wrong. They closed the port down, I was happy about it. I didn't care. So when the port was closed down, the city council said, oh my God, these people are horrible. We lost $4 to $8 million in that one day. I said, wait a minute, the port is bringing in $4 to $8 million. Well, $2 million could go to the schools. So the point I'm making is that on the external part, because you cannot do what cannot be done. The Black Panther Party did have a school. We had our own school on East 14th Street at 65th and East 14th, which ran for about 10 years and was a wonderful model of education. But that's all it was a model, because we had maybe 400 kids. And I'm involved in a model right now because I'm on the advisory board of the 100 Black Men's School here in Oakland. But the point is, we can make these efforts and create these models, but we don't have the resources to develop the kind of public education system that we need available to all of our children. So one of the things that we know is that we need money. And where can we get that money? And I'm being very concrete. I say, just go down there to the port and get that money. Now, if you want it, go get it. If you don't, then sit around here and keep talking about, you know what to do. You know what you have to do. Barbara Lee said we need a move. We do, because we don't have one. Hasn't been one really since the Black Panther Party, which is why we're still talking about the Black Panther Party. So the point I'm making is there are things and there is money in this city to be had. But the other issue is, what are you being taught? This is the miseducation of, continuing miseducation of the Negro, okay? Because we still sitting here thinking that America's a great place, and if we just really work hard, it'll all be wonderful for us. We all gonna be Oprah or Obama, and as though the rest of us are some lazy people who don't want to do anything. If we just tried hard enough, we'd all be multimillionaires. There must be something wrong with them. This is the miseducation. We read the history of this country and we still think Thomas Jefferson was a great man, despite that he was a slaveholder and a rapist. So we have to learn, yes, Thomas Jefferson's right. You think he had a love affair with his 14-year-old slave? It's called rape. So the bottom line is, we are celebrate a rapist and a slaveholder. All the presidents up until Lincoln were mostly slaveholders, either in office or outside of office. We're not learning the truth about this country. And one of the things that the Black Panther Party did put forward was point number 5, which of our 10-point platform and program, which said that we want an education that teaches us the true nature of our oppression. We have to know that we are not responsible for the poverty that's here in Oakland. You go to East Oakland, people are like, all these boys sagging, and we don't want sagging, as though if they pulled their pants up, we'd all be free. This is the kind of stupid thinking that goes on. Or they have a grill. Now, wait a minute, let's kill everybody who has a grill. Or they said this in the rap song. We have gotten very confused about who we are. So we don't need a public school system that teaches us how to continue to be oppressed. So we have to address several other questions. One, though, is to get that money. I suggest very strongly, we've been saying this since the days that we pushed Lionel Wilson into office, that the Port of Oakland belongs to the people. The resources, there's billions of dollars rolling through that port every day, sitting right in West Oakland. You need to go down there, form that movement, and go after that money, and then we can have some public schools, perhaps, that will be what we need and what we want.
Well, thank you.